right, let's dive into a powerful, maybe even a kind of unsettling idea. The core argument here is that there was an actual moment in time, this invisible event, that changed absolutely everything for us. Let's get into it. Just let that sink in for a second. It doesn't say it eroded or faded away, it says it was stolen. The claim is that there was a day, a quiet moment, when we stopped thinking our own thoughts. And the crazy part is, most of us never even noticed it was gone. So, how on earth does something like that happen? We're going to start by digging into this concept of a silent theft. We're not talking about an accident here, but a deliberate robbery of the most private thing we have, our own inner world. Now, the culprit wasn't some shadowy organization or a sci-fi villain. Nope, it was something way more subtle, something we actually invite into our lives every single day. The constant, unending hum of distraction. It was the perfect crime, you know? No evidence, no fingerprints left behind. And just look at this contrast. It really says it all. Over on the left, you have the inner world. That was supposed to be our private, sacred space for deep thought and finding meaning. And on the right, that's what replaced it, the external world, where our minds basically become public property, just getting hammered by glowing screens and this constant digital storm. The core of what was lost is something the source calls our inner architecture. Now, this isn't just about random thoughts popping into your head. This is the very framework, the personal blueprint of your beliefs and your values. It's the internal structure that tells you who you are and where you're supposed to be going. It's what gives your life meaning. And here's the kicker, the most shocking part of this whole robbery: we weren't just victims, we were accomplices. We stopped building that architecture ourselves. We outsourced it, we just handed it away, piece by piece, because the outside world made us an offer that was just too good to refuse. Hey, why bother thinking for yourself when we can do all the thinking for you? Okay, so what happens when our inner world is gone? What are the consequences? Well, we end up living in the age of the external mind. And this next part is all about what that really feels like for us day to day. It leads to all these weird paradoxes, doesn't it? We're drowning in information, but we're spiritually starving. We have access to millions of opinions, but we feel morally adrift, totally lost. We are constantly overstimulated, but our inner selves, they're completely underdeveloped. I mean, does this sound familiar to you? Because the argument is that for the external mind, silence has actually become a threat, something we have to avoid at all costs. Stillness feels awful, like we're being unproductive. And just the simple act of looking inward, of introspection, it feels like trying to speak a language you totally forgot. And this is the bottom line, the really crucial point. When we lose that inner structure, we lose ourselves. We don't belong to ourselves anymore. We become the property of the noise, of the algorithms, of every single notification that's fighting for a slice of our attention. Now, you might be thinking, okay, this is a modern problem. This is about smartphones and the internet. But here's the twist. The source argues this pattern is ancient. This isn't just some new age philosophy. This is a documented warning, a red flag from history itself. The evidence points to this reoccurring pattern that is just, it's undeniable. We're talking thousands of years, multiple continents, and the same story playing out again and again. 5 great civilizations, one identical model of collapse. Let's just walk through the pattern here. In Sumer, when people lost their mental self-governance, it led straight to chaos. In Egypt, they abandoned the inner ear of conscience, and what followed was total moral decay. In Greece, they rejected the great call to know thyself, and their democracy disintegrated. In Rome, when the inner law died in the hearts of its citizens, the entire empire collapsed. And in China, when internal rituals lost their meaning, the Warring States period of chaos erupted. The lesson from 5,000 years of recorded history is devastatingly simple. Your internal world is the foundation. If that cracks, the external world, our societies, our governments, our entire civilization is guaranteed to crumble right after. It's not a question of if, but when. And this is where the historical warning becomes so urgent for us right now. We are walking down the exact same path as those 5 fallen civilizations, but the stakes are so much higher. Our technology of distraction is infinitely more powerful, and our capacity for inner discipline has probably never been weaker. This is the central argument. The huge problems we see out in the world, the political turmoil, the social decay, all of it, they're not the cause. They are symptoms. The real collapse, the one that truly matters, always begins inside the individual mind. So, after a warning like that, what's the solution? Well, this is where we have to shift our focus from the massive scale of civilizations down to the most personal scale there is, you. The way forward isn't some big societal project. It's a personal choice. It's a reconstruction. And it all starts with asking a really direct, maybe uncomfortable question. And I want you to take a second and really think about it. Have you lost your inner world? Have you outsourced your own thoughts? Is your mind a quiet, structured place, or is it mostly just an echo of all the noise outside? Because it seems like there are two kinds of people right now. Those who are just lost in the storm, and those who are actively, consciously trying to rebuild that inner architecture. Which one are you? And this brings us to the final, really provocative point here. The historical pattern, well, it suggests that the fate of the outer world might already be in motion. So maybe worrying about that is just another distraction. The only question that really matters is a personal one. It shifts the focus from how do we save the world to how do I save myself? Can you build an inner sanctuary, a fortress that can withstand the storm, no matter what happens outside? Can you reconstruct your inner world in time? If your answer is yes, if you choose to begin that work, then this isn't an ending. It's the start of a journey back to that quiet empire you have inside. Welcome to the reconstruction.
There's a silent blueprint behind every genular, every revolutionary.